I guarantee if you were in that situation and you were in front of her like that and you gave her lawful commands and you had the gun out and she started going at you, you'd fucking shoot. And
I wouldn't use a
Women
deadly
almost
force. I would
always
use other
force
ways.
more than men do.
Or at least
when
you'd
they're
shoot the
cops.
car. You wouldn't shoot her. You'd shoot the tire to stop her.
Okay,
I don't even know why
so
I debated you,
law
because if you don't
enforcement-
view
because
me
you-
as a human
okay,
being,
as
then you know what? I hope you get no pussy for the rest of your life, and I bet your dick is a carrot.
Yeah.
If I was you, I think I'd just kill myself. So I don't really know.
A majority of women are single. What does that mean?
According to what study? You still haven't given me
Okay,
any
this
numbers.
fucking guy, man. Do I need a study to say that 1 + 1 is 2? Do I need a study to say the sky is fucking blue? Do I need a study to
Don't
say you're being a
strawman me.
retard right now?
Stop strawmanning
I
me
don't.
right now.
Like,
Myron,
like,
shut the fuck up. Stop strawmanning me right now and respond to the fucking question, you bitch. Seriously.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave. Go back to a kitchen.
Why do they always do this? Every time these trannies, like they'll give their point and then they'll just walk away. It's like we don't want to debate. It's like what's going on here? Yeah. You go over there. Don't. You gotta back up. You gotta back up. Today's topic is going to be ICE did nothing wrong. I'm going to try to stay on that topic as much as we can. I understand that we have some kosher friends here that might want to ask me some questions about, I don't know what it would be, but whatever it may be. Just for those of you that are not familiar, I'll just kind of go through this real quick. Number 1, women are stupid. Number 2, blacks cause too much damn crime. Number 3, Jews run America. 4, Indians stink. What else? 5, Asians are good at math, as proven just here a second ago with one of the with the president here. And it wasn't 6 million. Awesome. Okay. So let's go ahead and go into the first person. Thank you for being patient, man. What's your name?
I'm Dan.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm good. First of all, thank you for coming to our campus. My name is Dan Bitterman. I'm a senior in LSA. I'm also the campus fellow for Get This End Jew Hatred.
Okay.
And also the president of Students Supporting Israel on
Sure.
campus. So my question for you is this. Many of us, regardless of political association, closely followed Turning Point's MFest conference, to which you unfortunately were not important enough to be invited as a speaker, but rather as an attendee. There you wore a shirt, which is now on your hat, likely as a desperate attempt to stay relevant, wearing a Let Him Cook shirt and hat, referencing and insinuating the support for the gassing of 6 million Jews in the Holocaust, a number which you regularly and not too long ago just denied. My question to you is this. What is your response to the over 6,000 Jewish students on this campus across a political spectrum that feel incredibly unsafe that someone like yourself is on our college campus?
So say that last, what's the actual question?
What is your response to the over 6,000 Jewish students at this campus across a political spectrum that feel incredibly unsafe that you're here?
Stop being a bitch. I'm not going to hurt nobody. I don't know what the hell. This is the United States of America, man. Freedom of speech is a thing here. It's not Tel Aviv. If you guys don't like it, go back to fucking Tel Aviv, man. That's the reality. We got the First Amendment. That's what makes this country so great. And then we got the Second Amendment to protect that. I obviously never condone violence. I never condone any type of hatred towards someone simply because of their religion, their skin color, whatever.
What did you just do?
What was that?
What did you just do?
Well, here's the thing. I talk about general realities, but in no way am I saying, oh, I hate Jewish people or anything like that. My thing is, because this is the Jewish tactic right here. Literally, it's if you're critical of certain narratives or if you're critical of Judaism or Zionism or the state of Israel or how they just got done doing a genocide, it's automatically you're anti-Semitic or you make me feel unsafe. It's all a Jewish ploy to try to victimize themselves, when in reality, you guys have been the ones victimizing a bunch of innocent Palestinians, and someone like me calling it out gets labeled as, oh, well, you promote hatred, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, if I exercise my voice to talk about how you guys are killing innocent children, and that makes you feel unsafe, well, I don't know what to say, because the reality is that Israel's that's doing a lot of the aggression here.
Well, I didn't mention the word Israel once. You walking up here twice saluted Hitler. Hitler murdered 6 million Jews, which obviously you think is sub 271,000. So how do you say that you don't support and encourage violence when you just saluted Hitler on the campus?
Here's the thing. The United States, the UK, everybody committed atrocities. History's written by the victors. And the reality here is we won, so we write it in a certain way. But
sorry, is we America or the Nazis?
World War II,
country you align with.
World War II was a horrible time, and a lot of people, millions upon millions of people died. So I just find it interesting how we only focus on this one part of World War II, and we don't focus on all the other parts of the World War II or other genocides that happened. We only focus on this, number of 6 million of Jewish people that were allegedly killed during the Holocaust. Now, let me be clear about this. I don't deny the Holocaust. I don't think that, I'm not saying it didn't happen. But what I am saying is I think the facts around it and the way that it's told in mainstream media, I don't think all the facts are accurate. And when you actually do the numbers and you figure out in the background, okay, well, there's an entire media industry behind it. There's a museum industry behind it. It's a narrative that allows them to seek victimhood anytime they're criticized. I think for political reasons, that number is used, but I don't think it's 6 million. Now, did people die? For sure. But for some odd reason, we only prioritize that. We don't talk about all the other people that died. And it's used from a perspective of advantage and tactically by the Jewish community and Zionism, etc.
What about the detailed records that the Nazis kept during the Holocaust? I don't know if you're literate, but if you were, did you read those?
Yeah. Records that basically their enemies went ahead and said, oh, yeah, but look at all these records we found. Look at this smoke chamber that's here that wasn't there before. Dude, there's so many problems with it. And to exterminate that many people in that period of time, simply put, there weren't enough ovens. So let's go on to the topic here with ICE. I understand if we have more time, we can revisit that. But the reality is to pull off what they claim happened in that short period of time with that less sophisticated technology, it's impossible. No way. And anyone that has half a brain and can do some math knows that it's almost impossible to do it. And to gas them, that's ridiculous. What's up, man?
I'm Alejandro. I'm a student of applied mathematics here. And my question was, how can you justify sending the paramilitary squads into elementary schools, hospitals, cancer wards, farms, to round up millions of innocent people and deport them to the third world? And I'm not talking about the jihadists or the cartel members, but the millions of innocent people who just want a better life for them and their families.
Okay, I'm assuming when you say paramilitary, you're referring to ICE?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I love how you just framed the question from a progressive standpoint, calling them paramilitary, et cetera, when they're sworn law enforcement, but I get it. So here's the thing. People break the law when they come to the United States illegally, okay? And we haven't enforced immigration for decades. Most presidents are pussies. They don't want to enforce it because it's considered political suicide. It's a very disliked, you got it? Okay. It's a very disliked topic politically. So Donald Trump is the first president to actually say, you know what, we're going to put our foot down and actually enforce immigration for once. And what we are seeing is the culmination of decades of kicking the can down the road and not dealing with the problem of mass immigration in the United States. And that is why there's so much backlash. But the reality is they're doing their jobs. These people are here illegally. Some of them have been here for 20, 30 years where they could have definitely did something where they can adjust their status, but they didn't do it. So if you've been here for 20 years and you didn't adjust your status, well, quite frankly, you're a fucking retard. And you probably should get sent back to Mexico where the fuck you came from. That's the reality. So people break the laws and there's consequences.
Well, so did Harriet Tubman, so did Frederick Douglass. They all broke the law. Aren't they illegal immigrants too? How about them? They ran away. They crossed the border illegally. Shouldn't we have benevolence and humanity towards these people? How do you enforce these laws? I mean, that are just horrific. They're going to be sent back to Afghanistan or Somalia where they're going to be killed. Like, so.
Well, we do have remedies in place like asylum and everything else like that, where, people are able to put them, apply for asylum, temporary protected status, etc. We do have avenues that people can stay here if they do have credible fear. But the problem is that our immigration system has been exploited extensively. People committing marriage fraud, asylum fraud, all types of things. And the issue with immigration is no one really knows about this, and since it's such a complex topic and it's so politically sensitive, no one really wants to discuss it and or enforce it. But this is a problem that's been going on for a very long time, and what you're seeing right now is the process of ripping the Band-Aid off.
But what is the purpose of enforcing a law that is clearly unjust? Like, would you have enforced the fugitive slave laws? Like, how does this work?
Well, obviously, America is a relatively newer country compared to other nations, and we've been able to progress quite a bit. But I think comparing people that came here illegally, that are here illegally, to slavery, I don't think it's analogous. So
why?
I see your perspective where you're trying to say, well, things were legal before that were bad. Well, look, people came here illegally. We have a country to protect. We have Americans that we have to care for. Like, people coming here illegally and breaking our laws, that's not what we want. And at the end of the day, if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. So they broke the law, man.
So what if they broke the law? Doesn't the law exist to protect freedom, to protect life? Isn't this what John Locke said, Thomas Jefferson? If they aren't doing anything wrong in the sense that they're not hurting anyone, why can't they stay? You're going to send them back to get their fingers chopped off by the cartels?
Well,
what are you, a slave?
Well, only on Saturday, slave owning. But so here's the thing. this law that you're complaining about is precisely why you live in the safe environment where you can say ridiculous things like this, because we've secured the country so much and we've secured society so much where people are able to come in here and give their takes and everything else like that. So I would argue that this law that you're criticizing has created a very comfortable environment for you to bitch as you're doing right now.
Wait. That's completely unfair. How can you say, like, the farmers that are getting deported, the children in the cancer wards that are getting deported, they're a threat to me? These are, like, if you find a jihadist, send him to Guantanamo. But, like, how could you say these people who aren't hurting anyone, you're going to send them back? So how's that any different than the slave catchers who sent them back to slavery?
Well, here's the thing. Here's another thing. So typically they prioritize criminal aliens, right? And another issue is that a lot of these blue states that have sanctuary cities, these people have been arrested before, they've been encountered by law enforcement before, and a lot of these agencies don't do immigration enforcement whatsoever. They don't ask, they have a don't ask, don't tell. So what ICE is doing is they're basically prioritizing going after criminal aliens, and then if they're there during the course of securing an immigration arrest, and there's other people that they encounter that are illegal, those people are probably going to be taken into custody too. That's called what we call like collateral damage.
Why
right?
should they be
So-
deported though? But why should, if they aren't hurting anyone? So I have no problem with arresting.
Keep in mind, they're not getting deported right away. They're going through immigration proceedings.
So they're gonna get, like, have a trial and then they're gonna be sent back to Afghanistan. Like,
Well, not necessarily. If they can demonstrate credible fear or some other type of situation, they might be able to stay. But they do get, when they get arrested, a lot of times they actually get released, given what's called a notice to appear to see an immigration judge, because the immigration court system is its own animal.
Trump just revoked 2,000 permits for the people from Somalia. They're gonna be sent back to do what? To live in hell? To live in?
To be pirates?
So you're fine with sending them back to be slaughtered by ISIS or whoever terrorists live in Somalia?
Well, if they're able to demonstrate credible fear, the thing is that every immigration case in every scenario is completely different. So just because you get arrested by ICE doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be deported by ICE as well. You got to keep in mind that we do have an entire immigration process where they can go through that.
So if you don't want to live in a hellhole, maybe in the slums of Mexico, then you can be deported. But if you, I don't know, might have your head chopped off, then we can keep you here. Like, how is that fair?
Again, we cannot save everyone. We have to put our people first. We have to put U.S. citizens first. We have to put our country first. And look, the world's a very cold and evil place. And that's just how it is. And we got to put our country first. And sometimes that means that other people have to come second and third. And, this is what we're doing now.
Well, the world is not zero sum, but I'll just say that we could have 1 billion people come to this country and we'll have the population density of, like, France. So there's plenty of space here, and they contribute to our economy. And I don't see why. I mean, you used to work for ICE. I know that.
Yep.
So you are the equivalent of the slave catcher who used to deport Harriet Tubman and all her friends back to slavery in the South. Would you rather live in, like, slums of Venezuela where they're organized slavery, which is basically what communism is? Or would you rather be a slave in whatever time period? I mean, I'm just saying, you guys are morally equivalent to barbarians.
Well, I worked for HSI, so I did more criminal investigations, not necessarily deporting people. But look, like I said before, they break the law. It is what it is, man.
Well, I'm just gonna say
if
that
you're
the
here
law,
illegally, like
the law should reflect our values, and I mean, if you can't, you should be. If it doesn't, you should be amnestied. I mean, Abraham Lincoln pardoned all the slaves, even though they committed a crime. They tried illegally. I mean, I'm just saying, like, how about all these countries? How about the people who saved the Jews from the gas chambers? They committed a crime. Should they be punished?
That's a completely different situation.
I mean, if you're arguing that
you're comparing immigration, people coming here illegally and overstaying and/or committing immigration violations to, like, World War II. Like, you're just kind of just throwing things out there, man. And it's, I get it. You're a little triggered by ICE finally doing their jobs after decades of not doing their jobs. But the reality is we got laws, dude, and we have a border, and we got to protect our country. We got to put Americans first, and that means that we need to remove people that don't belong here.
How are they hurting?
If you don't have borders, if you don't have
how about
a
all the
strong
people who contribute,
national identity, then you don't have a country.
Fine, I didn't realize we just had to say, yes, sir, we have to appeal to the laws. Like, if the laws are unjust, we should change the laws or grant them amnesty. This has been how it is. And I didn't realize we were just supposed to bow down and obey every single law if it's wrong.
Well, the laws that we have created the secure environment for you to be here.
No, they haven't.
Yes,
Deporting.
You're able to talk right now about this.
Raiding
Like-
cancer wards does not help me have free speech. How does that even work?
No, what I'm saying is you're complaining about the very system that's allowed you the privilege.
I'm
right,
not
to be
complaining
able
about
to
the
speak
First
the way that you are.
Amendment. I'm complaining about the
But I'm
fact.
saying this is a great country, and you're saying like, oh, this is so evil with the deporting people. Dude, we're a nation of laws. Now, just because you don't like the law or it pisses you off from an emotional perspective, doesn't necessarily
Should
mean
we
that it's
enforce
not
every
the
law? I mean, should laws that are bad be enforced? I mean, do you justify enforcing
Yeah,
the
mass
fugitive-
immigration does
Okay.
create problems.
Would you have
Mass
enforced the
immigration creates
fugitive
problems.
slave clause? That's my question.
What's that?
Would you have enforced the fugitive slaves clause?
Okay, slavery is not the same as people coming here illegally.
Well, if
At all.
you're going to send them back to
If
Venezuela,
anything,
where they're going to be
it's the
gang
complete
raped,
opposite. So where they're going to be what?
where they're going to be like enslaved. You know, Venezuela has a modern system of slavery, and Donald Trump sending them all back there. Same in Afghanistan.
Okay. All
But,
right.
okay,
Who's up
fine.
next?
Fine.
This guy's
Fuck
just
you.
throwing anything, trying to get it to stick.
Hi, I have a few questions for you. I'm
Yeah.
a reporter with the Michigan Daily, so it's all right if I ask you just a few questions.
Yeah. Can we just try to stay on topic though?
Yeah, I will.
If we can stay on ICE or the good shooting
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah, my first question for you is just, what do you, like, you said ICE did nothing wrong, so what are your thoughts on the killing of Renee? I believe her name was Renee Nicole Good.
Yeah, I mean, the loss of any life is a horrible situation, but he was completely justified in that shooting. You don't get to commit a felony and try to run over an ICE officer and, just walk away from him a lot of times. I mean, he was 100% justified in what he did.
Okay, do you mind if I ask you a few other questions about
Sure.
things you've said in the past? Okay.
So you don't. Okay, so right.
Well-
Just want to sit down. Yeah. So my position on that for everybody here that's listening,
yeah.
since that's like the trending right now, the shooting in Minnesota with Good was absolutely justified. Now, and if you don't like that or you don't agree with that, hey, the Second Amendment and law enforcement does have a duty, has the right to defend themselves, as well as they don't have a duty to retreat when they're there enforcing the law. But sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, do you believe women deserve equal rights?
Equal rights in what way?
In equal rights under the law, equal protections, equal rights to get jobs, equal rights to access housing, just equal rights under the law in general.
Well, I think feminism has created a lot of problems, and I don't think that men and women are equal. And I think we have completely different roles, and I think feminism in itself has created a lot of the destructive, progressive policies that we have now. The female vote has put in a lot of progressive leaders who have created issues, but that's a broad overview. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then also, I know a few people have already asked you kind of about this stuff, but I was told by like another editor to ask you. You mentioned, yeah, we like Hitler in defending a chat. I was going to ask you, do you stand by this comment?
Yeah, I stand by being able to say what you want to say and not being pussified about it. The issue here is that we have a lot of political correctness. We got a lot of people that are soft. We got a lot of people that are scared to say what's on their mind. So when I say, yeah, we like Hitler, that's to defy the norm where, oh my God, you can't say that. And I think that was in response to a tweet from actually David Pakman, because he said some bullshit about, oh, this is so bad, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, we like Hitler. Shut the fuck up. Because we got to protect the First Amendment, dude. We got to protect the First Amendment. And in order for the First Amendment to be protected, you have to be able to push the edges of the First Amendment.
Okay. Do you think Trump is deploying ICE and having them be very aggressive with protesters so that he can? Because he just mentioned, I think, that he was considering declaring Insurrection Act. Thank you. So, do you think he's having ICE be very aggressive with protesters so that he can then declare the Insurrection Act and using it as a pretext to declare the Insurrection Act?
Well, the problem is that the protesters are the ones showing the majority of the aggression, right? If ICE is there to effectuate an arrest, I'll tell you right now, and I'm sure anyone here that works in law enforcement or has worked in law enforcement or understand law enforcement practices, you always try to handle the situation at the lowest level possible with the least escalation. The problem here is that a lot of these people are impeding officers, they're creating issues, they're harboring them illegally, they're doing all types of things to obstruct the agents and the officers from doing their jobs. So they have to kick up their level of force a lot of the times to be able to properly enforce the law. The issue is that we haven't enforced immigration so long that people forget that you being here illegally or ICE have the authority to arrest people that are here illegally without any type of status. So that's why we have all this backlash, is because this is something that we've been kind of delaying and procrastinating on for a very long time.
All right. Thank you for answering my questions.
No worries. What's up?
How's it going, bro? I got a serious question. So,
Go ahead.
so, would you rather gay son or thought daughter?
A gay son or a thought daughter?
Yes, bro.
Damn. Yeah, neither, of course. But if I had to pick one,
You gotta pick one.
the gay son. Fuck that, man. Thought daughter's the worst, bro. That's
Okay.
the worst. Yeah, I'd have to, because at least with my son, I can smack the shit out of him. Like, hey, man, you're not gonna be gay. So yeah, but thought daughter, she's cooked. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, bro.
Hey, Myron, thanks for coming. I'm a big supporter. So I guess I'm in agreement. So my biggest questions you could talk about. I talk to people who disagree with the shooting, and I just don't think they understand force versus deadly force and the use of force continuum, where, you know, we do expect police officers to be the aggressors. We do expect police officers to move forward and pursue criminals. So could you speak on like why it actually is deadly force when it comes to the vehicle?
Oh yeah.
Or
so
why a vehicle, or what is a deadly weapon in any context of that kind of situation?
yeah, and you know, and people need to understand, like, okay, so number one, like in the state of Minnesota, right, you have a duty to retreat. That doesn't apply to law enforcement because by the nature of their job, a lot of the times they have to be the ones to increase, like you said, with the use of force continuum. Because if I show up, right, and the courier says, hey man, I ain't going to jail, puts up his fist, like it would be stupid for me to square up with him. I'll pull out my taser. He pulls out a knife, I pull out my gun. So when it comes to law enforcement, you typically have to go one level above the perpetrator to be able to subdue them. Now, when it comes to a vehicle, that is absolutely a deadly weapon. And the ICE agent actually did get internal bleeding, as much as people were saying like, oh yeah, he hurt his like, internal organs. You know, she just came at him at like 5 miles per hour. People don't realize that you can, even if a car that size hitting you, like that can cause some serious damage. And when it comes to imminent death or serious bodily injury, you have the authorization, you know, to utilize deadly force and stop the threat. So, and people just don't understand that. So it is what it is, but you can't be committing felonies. They give you lawful orders and then you run a car at them. A vehicle is absolutely considered a deadly weapon. Many cops get hit by cars and die. There was actually a Baltimore police officer, a female. That's a whole other situation. But she got ran over and she died from the same exact situation. And the guy didn't even drive that fast. So yeah, this is what law enforcement deals with all the time.
Yeah, I just don't think people see that it is deadly force, a deadly weapon. I mean, from a firearm all the way down.
Absolutely,
to
a
kitchen
car's a
knife.
deadly weapon, you know, and I think people that don't see that are retarded. But you know, it is what it is.
Thanks, Myron. Big supporter.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay.
And guys, let's try to focus on disagreements or haters or anything else like that. So yeah, what's up, man?
Okay. Actual question.
Yep.
Would you rather get shot in the head or get freaky with your dad?
Shot in the head.
Okay. That's all I need to know. Thank you so
shot in the
much.
head.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Kind of going back to the other conversation with the shooting being justified. I feel like I'm specifically kind of 50-50 in it. So I've been in law enforcement for 4 years, and I do agree that a vehicle is like something that could cause a death. But in some way, like when you have a situation, you want to take kind of down the level of like how stressful it is. Oh, sorry. I'm short. Okay, so kind of saying that wouldn't adjustable solution would be like shoot the tire so that way she doesn't run away, because she didn't, other than being in the vehicle, it's not a deadly force.
So shooting out tires is very maverick, and not many agencies authorize that. And I think actually for ICE, you can't shoot the tires out. So if you are gonna, you know, shoot at a car, it's got to pretty much be only to defend yourself from the kind of the perspective that the ICE officer did. So, like, are you like actual sworn law enforcement or?
I'm not sworn officer.
Okay, so you're not sworn. So there's not many law enforcement agencies that like authorize shooting out tires. Like typically, really reckless state police agencies only authorize that. So that's not going to be a thing. And I see what you're saying. Like, hey, look, they could have maybe dealt with it at a lower level, but you got to remember that they have to meet the perpetrator where the perpetrator's at. right? It's very difficult to de-escalate things, especially in that rapid time frame. We're talking about a matter of seconds. Guy comes up, get out the car. She doesn't want to comply. She backs up the car. He pulls out his gun. She still drives towards him anyway. Like, these are all, escalatory behaviors that would lead a reasonable person to be like, oh, wow. And he's trying to get out the way as he's shooting. That's another thing people say, oh, well, bro, you should just got out the way. He tried, and he got hit. Why is this woman talking and not in the kitchen? What's going on here? What the hell is going on? So, like, wait. She's just standing by the snowbank, and I'm like, I don't see a stove there. Why is she talking? What's going on? Like, what's... Okay, yeah, just women being women, right? But anyway, yeah, but to finish what I was saying here, they had to meet her where she was at, unfortunately.
I agree with that, and, like, obviously I do see it as somewhat reasonable.
Yeah, you're welcome to come to the thing after if you want. No, you're fine. Sorry, continue on.
I do see that being reasonable. It is like a split-second decision, but I think saying that, like, 100% justifiable, maybe not, but, like, it is in some way.
I see your perspective. The reality is, legally, it's 100% justified. Now, if you want to have a moral discussion, that's different. That's very subjective. But I would say, keep in mind, when it comes to use of force in America, the law enforcement officer is going to be judged on, did he act in a reasonable manner given all the facts and circumstances that he was in at the time that the use of force happened? And I think universally, most people would agree, most attorneys, law enforcement, et cetera, training, that was a good shoot, unfortunately. I wish it didn't happen, but given the facts and circumstances, he's absolutely justified.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Okay.